yourself a little or a lot. Leave it in the comments. When a woman thinks about someone often, the evidence rarely appears in obvious or dramatic actions. Instead, it shows up through subtle behavioral patterns that repeat consistently over time. Human psychology prioritizes efficiency, meaning the mind quietly integrates frequently thought about people into everyday decision making, emotional processing, and attention allocation. These behaviors are unconscious signals meant to impress but natural outcomes of mental presence that become visible when observed carefully. One of the strongest indicators is how naturally you surface in her thoughts without external prompting. If she references you in situations where your mention isn't required, it suggests that you're part of her inner mental framework. The brain tends to retrieve what it revisits frequently, and spontaneous recall is a clear sign of repeated thought rather than coincidence. Memory plays a critical role in revealing mental attention. When she remembers small details about your preferences, reactions, or past conversations, it indicates that those moments were mentally replayed or reinforced. Selective memory retention isn't random. The mind stores what carries emotional relevance, and relevance is built through repeated thought. Another subtle behavior is emotional continuity. If conversation resumes seamlessly after breaks without needing extensive recontextualization, it suggests that interaction with you didn't fully pause internally. This continuity often reflects ongoing mental engagement even during periods of silence. They like to be part of our family, so like and subscribe to the channel. Timing is also revealing. When she reaches out at moments that feel intuitively aligned rather than scheduled or obligatory, it often means you entered her thoughts first. People typically act on what already occupies their mind and not on what requires effort to remember. The way she responds to your silence can also be telling. If she checks in gently or creates a response to reconnect without urgency or pressure, it often reflects awareness of your absence or registers when someone is mentally present. Emotional mirroring is another key behavior. Over time, she may adopt similar expressions, humor, or communication rhythms. This occurs when the brain repeatedly stimulates interaction with someone, leading to unconscious alignment. Notice how she listens. If she follows up on topics you mentioned long ago or remembers ongoing situations in your life, it suggests that she continued to think about those topics after the conversation ended. Listening that extends beyond the moment reflects sustained mental engagement. Curiosity is another important indicator. When her questions move beyond surface level information and into motivations, values, or perspectives, it suggests cognitive investment. Curiosity requires mental energy, which people reserve for those they think about often. The way she shares her own experiences can also reveal thought patterns. If she includes you in personal reflection or shares details without a clear social benefit, it often means she associates you with emotional safety and mental closeness. Humor provides another subtle clue. Referencing inside jokes or shared memories indicates active recall. Humor relies on timing and context, which only remain accessible when memories are mentally refreshed. Her response to your opinions can also be revealing. If she considers them carefully or revisits them later, it suggests that your perspective carries cognitive weight. People tend to internalize the views of those they think about frequently. Emotional regulation around you is another quiet sign. If she appears composed yet expressive, it often reflects awareness and care, both of which stem from mental prioritization. Consistency matters more than in a steady. A steady engagement over time usually indicates sustained thought, whereas sporadic insteady often reflects impulsive rather than genuine mental presence. The way she handles disagreements can also offer insight, seeking understanding rather than avoidance, suggests that she values the mental connection enough to preserve it. If she remembers timelines when you mentioned something or how long ago an event occurred, demonstrates structured memory. Structured recall typically forms when someone revisits information manually. Another behavior is anticipation. Casual references to future interactions or events imply forward thinking, which only happens when someone occupies a present mental space. Pay attention to how she reacts to your emotional shifts. Noticing changes without being told suggests attentiveness built through ongoing mental observation. The depth of her empathy can also signal a thought frequency. Empathy requires imagining another person's experience, which becomes easier when the person is already mentally familiar. Silence, when comfortable, is meaningful, is during quiet moments, often reflects psychological familiarity developed through repeated neural interaction. The way she prioritizes time is another indicator. Small adjustments in availability or responsiveness can reflect unconscious prioritization driven by thought. Social acknowledgement matters as well. Speaking about you consistently, about respectfully to others suggests inner significance rather than casual association. Emotional patience is another quiet sign. Allowing space without withdrawing emotionally often reflects long-term thinking rather than short-term impulse. The way she reacts to your successes can be revealing. Genuine innocence without comparison suggests emotional alignment built through mental investment. Likewise, concern during your challenges indicates continued emotional tracking, which usually only happens when someone is thought about often. Notice how she responds to repetition. A willingness to revisit topics or experiences suggests comfort and familiarity rooted in mental rehearsal. Her curiosity about your inner world, fears, goals, or values indicates depth of thought beyond surface attraction. Shared ritual, even small ones, are often developed when someone is mentally integrated in daily routines. If she remembers a thing you haven't discussed recently, it suggests independent recall rather than reactive memory. Emotional consistency across different planets usually signals a stable inner perception formed through repeated thought. The way she balances independence and connection can also be telling. Maintaining emotional presence without dependency often reflects mutual mental attachment. Observing how she reacts to distance is important. Emotional steadiness during a space often indicates confidence built on inner connection. Her ability to adapt communication style to yours suggests attentiveness shaped by mental familiarity. Over time, these behaviors form a pattern rather than isolated incidents. Patterns are the most reliable indicators of mental presence. Thinking about someone often is less about dramatic expression and more about quiet repetition. And when these behaviors appear consistently and naturally, they reveal sustained mental engagement more accurately. And where's the ever code? What's on your mind about this topic? Let me know in the comments. Another subtle yet powerful indicator is how she emotionally categorizes you in her mind. When someone is thought about often, the brain stops treating them as a temporary interaction and instead assigns them a stable emotional role. This shows up in behavior such as consistency in tone, predictable warmth, warmth and a lack of emotional volatility rather than fluctuating between extremes. Her responses remain balanced because you exist as a familiar presence in her inner emotional landscape, not as an uncertainty she needs to evaluate each time. Pay close attention to how she reacts when plans change or unexpected situations arise. If her behavior remains calm, flexible, and accommodating, it often reflects emotional security rooted in mental closeness. People tend to react defensively around those they don't think about often, but when someone is mentally integrated, adaptability becomes easier because the connection already feels established internally. Another important behavior appears in the way she processes conflict internally before addressing it. If she brings up issues thoughtfully rather than impulsively, it suggests she spends time reflecting rather than reacting. Reflection requires mental replay and consideration, and which usually happens only when someone cares enough to think about the connection beyond the moment. The way she remembers emotional turning points, such as moments of vulnerability, shared laughter, or meaningful conversations, can also be revealing. These memories tend to resurface in later interactions, not because they were dramatic, but because they were mentally revisited. Emotional recall of this kind indicates that those moments had lasting significance in her thoughts. Finally, observe how she integrates you into her sense of normalcy. When your presence feels expected rather than exceptional, it often means you become part of her everyday mental environment. This type of integration doesn't happen quickly or consciously. It develops through repeated thought, emotional association, and psychological familiarity. At this stage, thinking about you is no longer intentional, it has become habitual. Thank you a lot for watching the full video. Have a lovely time.